I'm going to need you to give me some time. I definitely think that I've been cribbing a little too hard to a format introduced to me recently, and if not really apparent to you, it's especially and very apparent to myself. I really only started YouTube and these sort of stream of consciousness short videos because it was demonstrated to me that such a thing can work, right? It was demonstrated to me that naturalistic speaking, less edited, less produced content can still resonate with people. And as a person who has fear of being clippable, or rather not being clippable, someone who has a fear of not being incredibly eye-catching or a spectacle, there are people out there who are incredibly well-produced, who, upon even entering their space, you are wowed and awed, or you are suddenly struck with a belly laugh and you end up following them instinctively. And you eventually come back to them because you want to see more of that and feel more of that, and for sure you will. But I've always considered myself somewhat of a slow burn, in a sense. I've always sort of considered myself a conversationalist as best, and I've always thought that would translate poorly to YouTube content, but apparently it doesn't. And apparently it isn't. I think Mr. Beast has spoken to this trend, or rather upcoming trend, wherein super quick-paced video editing is going to slow down. Because people are just overstimulated and tired, and they want to sit in a space rather than constantly being moved around. People have been on this hyper-edited, short-form content roller coaster for a really long time, and what they really want to do is lean back and rest. And I also think that's interesting because the way TikTok is going as well. TikTok has up to 8-minute, 10-minute videos on their platform now, still in the vertical aspect ratio. But it's odd, isn't it? It's a little odd to think that this short-form content platform has ballooned out to trying to compete against YouTube through a hyper-curated algorithm with long-form videos. If not odd, then prophetic, because in line with Mr. Beast's idea, it looks like we're going to be trending towards slower content soon, which is good for me. So I'm really, really happy that I'm coming in to this space that at the time that I am right now. I feel very lucky to be doing this kind of stuff and to be inspired in this way at this very moment. At the same time, though, I'm trying not to just be the same. When we're growing up, we look at somebody we meet for the first time and that we think is really cool, and often our first thought is, I want to be just like you, right? And as we grow older, we begin to figure out that being somebody else, they are that way because they went through completely different circumstances than you have. They had completely different journeys, completely different moments than you have, formative moments that causes them to act seamlessly in one way or another, that emulating is going to be near impossible. There's been conversation about why there are so many pink cat VTubers, and I think it's that. I think a lot of young creators, I don't mean young as in like young of age, but young in their creation cycle, like nascent creators, what they want to do when they enter the space is they want to be the person that brought them into the community. I'm not sure if any of you have noticed or been particularly close to me and followed my ascent, but I definitely had idols, and still do, still have inspirations that drive me towards acting one way or another. As I develop my own voice, as I work toward getting better at speaking in a way that reminds you of no one else but me, and that's gonna be a while, I think. I recognize to a certain extent that I am also a nascent creator, a young creator, and maybe adolescent creator. Again, not by age, but in that a lot of my peers nowadays are my age, but they've been doing this for much longer, maybe since they were 14 or 16 or 18. They started on TikTok or YouTube. They edited it on Sony Vegas and eventually ballooned out into owning Premiere Pro. And in all that time, they've developed their own voices, their own takes, their own selves. And it's hard for me not to look at that and feel as though I'm behind somewhat, right? Here I am churning out the content that a 14-year-old, a 16-year-old, an 18-year-old at their point of time would have gotten away with or put away far behind them in their creative journey. And since I'm just starting mine, or very recently starting mine, I'm gonna put out a lot of garbage. I'm gonna put out a lot of stuff that I'm not proud of, maybe some things that approach parody of other creators, trying to figure myself out. I hope that's compelling. But no, the reason we see so many pink cat VTubers, can you think of a particularly popular pink cat VTuber? Finding models and aspiring to be them is a part of growing up. And you're never too late to grow up. If you find yourself lost or confused or not knowing where to go, finding an aspirational self, whether it's one of your entirely own creation or one wherein you aspire to be somebody else, it can be a good stepping stone towards self-realization, towards finding yourself, you know? Go forth, be courageous. Ding ding, 10 minutes.